I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Macho once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time for Daniel. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any other type of videos or topics, reactions, reviews, randomness, pretty much anything, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Season 1, Episode 1 of Dark Side of the Ring. Now, if you don't know, Vice, these technically Viceland, they have this show where they talk about stories that are not really the happiest of stories in the wrestling business, hence the title. And I know some of the episodes dealt with what happened to Chris Benoit the wrestler. I'm not sure if they did one Eddie Guerrero. Some are a bit more fun, like the Brawl for All. I recommend the Brawl for All. I would say this, even if you're not into wrestling, Dark Side of the Ring Brawl for All is a very fascinating episode, and it is more of a fun episode to watch. This one is about Macho Man Randy Savage and Elizabeth, where they were a couple and they loved each other, and, sadly things didn't work out the best. And it was interesting, it was fun to watch. I wouldn't say I learned anything new, but its presentation, the way it was put together, was entertaining. It was fast-paced, a lot of nice video footage from back in the day, from like Continental Wrestling Association, which is not really footage you see every day. And they get people talk about... Later on, you have people like Jim Cornette and other people talk about. And here, it was mainly Bruce Pritchard, who works for WWE, Jake the Snake Roberts, who wrestled Macho Man, Linda Hogan, Hulk Hogan's ex-wife, because she knew Elizabeth, Eric Bischoff, who ran WCW, and he worked with both of them in the WCW days. I would say I would like to have seen maybe Diamond Dallas Page, or maybe, I'm trying to think like who would talk a lot about Macho Man. But I mean, yeah, they got some people. Again, it was interesting to watch, to learn like a nice little history of Macho Man. But again, sort of the sadness of what happened. Where, they talked with Scott Hall as well, who was Razor Ramon, and he was just Scott Hall in WCW. They do talk with him. Jimmy Hart, who was the manager. So yeah, there's a few other people I'm missing. But, they... It seems that at the end of the day, a lot of people complimented Randy Savage. like a lot of love from Macho, especially at the end of it, which was nice to see, nice to hear about how he was loud and colorful and intense. He was a stick to dynamite. Sadly, short-lived as it came a bit. But it was nice to see like the old footage of the Continental Wrestling Association. He's with his dad, Angelo Poffo. Oh, they also talked with his brother, Larry Poffo, who had a short run as the Genius at a certain time in WWF. It's a well-made doc, editing-wise. I have no issues with that. I think you just gotta understand this is not a documentary on Macho Man's life. It's not a documentary on Macho Man's career. It's more about the relationship between Macho and Elizabeth. If you go into that mentality, again, they were married in Kentucky. 6 months later, they're in WWF. They did about the first appearance in 1985. They talk about how doing stuff like shows on Tuesday Night Titans, they made the character where Macho Man had Elizabeth. They were married, but on screen they were together, and she was subservient to him. And people really hated Macho Man for that, because Macho Man would tell her to do this, do that, don't do this. It's all about me. And it also led into real life Macho kind of controlling Elizabeth, because it is still his wife, and there's a lot of shady people, and so it's understandable why he would want to keep her away from that, but at the same time she works there. And it tells you a bit of his career, like WrestleMania 3, the match with Ricky Steamboat, the Mega Powers, him and Hulk Hogan teaming up, and then what led to their match. And about how Elizabeth was getting a bit tired of Randy Savage controlling her, which is understandable as well. But as someone mentions, it was a very wild place where wrestlers would take other people's suitcases and use them for toilets, or cut someone's hair off while they were passed out. And so Macho was very watchful for her, wanted to keep her away from it, but she also wanted to take a toll on a marriage. And that's kind of the sadness of it, is that with that type of environment, that type of work schedule, marriages don't last long. It's just not on the cards. I mean, think of a simple road trip that you've ever taken with even your friends, your family. You go on a road trip, some of the turmoil that goes on in there, that'd be tenfold when you're on the road. How many weeks, how many days? Your Macho Man's over there, and then Liz is like cleaning the blood off the boots. It's gonna have friction on a relationship. It just plain old is. Part of me didn't want to hear from Linda Hogan, Hulk Hogan's ex-wife, because I think everyone in the Hogan family is suspect for bullshit. To be perfectly honest, I don't trust anybody in the Hulk Hogan family, because there's just too much history of them being fucking liars. I'm sorry, like Hulk Hogan, like they don't interview him, but Linda Hogan is like, do I really have any reason to trust her as well and what she says? But whatever. But apparently at one point Liz wanted time off the road, and Randy's like, okay. And that's where he got the Macho Teen gimmick, and even more of a villain. And Sensational Sherry was with him, and had like WrestleMania 6 match with Dusty Rhodes. But then it's like, hey, I really want to make it work with Elizabeth. I gotta take a lot of time off from WWF. Okay, let's make a match. Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man, WrestleMania 7. Actually, it's one of my favorite matches. I know that's, oh my god, really? Yeah. I liked the story told. I thought both guys did well for what they were supposed to do. And Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage, I think it's Ultimate Warrior's best match. I think Macho Man helped that a lot. And I really always enjoy the match. And then the end where Sherry's pissed and beating up Macho Man, and then Elizabeth throws Sherry out, and Macho Man like hugs Elizabeth, and like he lost the match, but he got the girl. It's a great story, and always enjoyed that match. Might not be the best technical match, but it was still a fun match to watch as well. Each one got their moves in. Granted, it killed the elbow drop because he put like 18 fucking elbow drops in Ultimate Warrior. It still didn't work. But at least Ultimate Warrior, he didn't get up like the pedigree with Triple H in that WrestleMania where Triple H did his finish with the pedigree and then Ultimate Warrior got back up. And boom, 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 boom. At least Ultimate Warrior was like, at least there was that. And with how paranoid Macho Man is, he would not have done it. Like, I mean, if he didn't want to do it, he would not have done it. Because that's one thing people talk about Macho Man is that he planned out his matches intricately, and if he didn't want to do something, he wouldn't do it. Like, for example, I mean, Jake the Snake tells the story where it was going to be the battle between possibly those two in the future. And after, the wedding, like, Macho Man and Liz had a wedding, or at least the wedding for the TV screens, and the reception, there's a snake, and the snake is from Jake the Snake Roberts. And then it was going to lead to the snake biting Randy Savage, which is one of the more famous moments with Macho Man Randy Savage. And Macho Man's like, ooh, I don't know, I can't do Macho Man, but, ooh, yeah, I don't know, that fucking snake. Do you, is it venomous? Is it poisonous? And Jake's like, yeah, it is. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it should bite you just to make sure that it's been fixed. And Jake got offended by that, but it's like, fine, motherfucker. And it bit him. Don't take any pills. Don't take anything. Let me see what, And of course, he was fine. And so then when later on it happened, Jake really let that snake bite the fuck out of Macho Man. And that was definitely a memorable moment. Like, holy shit, that snake's really digging into and gnawing on Macho Man's arm. And then at one point around 1992, Elizabeth decided to hang out with Hulk Hogan and Linda Hogan. And this is when Hulk Hogan was filming around, I think, Mr. Nanny. And Randy's like, where's my wife? Where's my wife? She wanted to stay there. And pretty much soon after, Liz left him. And then they were just apart. Randy Savage, at that point in his career, he was, how do I put it, kind of put out the pasture wrestling-wise. He was Vince McMahon, the owner of WWF. He pretty much put Macho Man as color commentator, which you could tell Macho Man, I don't think he liked being the commentator. And he was alright, but I mean, it's like I have a lot more to do. I have a lot more I want to do. I don't want to be a fucking commentator. So he got a deal with WCW, went there with his $750,000 deal with Slim Jim. Ooh yeah. Which I think that's apparently one of the reasons why Vince McMahon never wanted Macho Man back in the WWF again. Because think about it. All those years, all those people that came out to WWF, including Hulk Hogan, never with Macho Man. Although I think Macho Man did like a video game commercial. So, I don't know, I mean, but at one point there was a rumor, they don't mention in the documentary, but there was a rumor that he slept with Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's daughter. I don't think that ever happened. I really don't, because number one, that's one of those that just seem to come out of the blue, and I think that was more because Macho Man at one point had a CD, like music, and he's like talking shit to people, including Triple H. And of course, what Triple H, make fun of someone, make fun of his wife, which is Stephanie McMahon. And I think people put that, and then they wrapped it up to something more sinister. Because think about it, if that's the case, since they never do anything with Macho Man, they never sell his stuff, they would just... Remember when they did the destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD? Which then they hushed about when Ultimate Warrior came back for 5 minutes before he passed away. But the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD, where they just took a shit on the guy. If they're willing to do that because of business, if this guy really did something to Stephanie, I think Vince McMahon would have done a whole heap and a lot of stuff. I don't think Vince McMahon would have kept that quiet. I really don't. So, no, I don't believe in that. But getting back to the documentary, it was sad that in WCW, Macho Man still loved Liz, but, as a friend, wanted to take care of her. Hey, come have a job at WCW. And then she went out with Lex Luger, another wrestler. And, people talk about how Randy wanted to protect Liz while Liz and Luger are together, but Liz and Lex Luger were doing pills and drugs. And that was what led to Miss Elizabeth passing away at age 42 because of an overdose, where Lex Luger was there. And you do hear about Lex Luger, his voice telling that moment, and Eric Bischoff has a few words about it. I'm being kind of vague because for people who want to see the details, it's worth a watch. It's interesting, and it's just sad that Macho, he had a heart attack and then had a car wreck, and just way too soon. Macho Man Randy Savage left us way too soon. I wish he was still with us. Bullsaw's ready. 5 minutes of playtime. Yeah. I've always been a Macho Man Randy Savage fan. I always loved the gimmick. I always wish to have seen him more as a good guy, but I know he liked playing a bad guy more. But when he was the champion, they didn't really let him do much. Like WrestleMania 4, he won, but he won with the help of Hulk Hogan. And then, not too long after, there was the Mega Powers, so Hulk Hogan was always there. I really wanted to see a run with Macho Man getting the Hulk Hogan run. The gamut of villains that Macho Man could defeat and beat and do all this, and you never got that. It's like he was never given the chance. Which sucks, honestly. It had to be all about Hulk Hogan. I liked Hulk Hogan as a kid, but in retrospect, I liked his promos. I liked his look. He was in fit shape. But his matches, watching him again, there's some fun to be had nostalgia-wise, to be fair, but it's just the person, I'm not a fan of the person of Hulk Hogan. I'm really not. Just not. But sorry, I'm going off these tangents. The documentary itself, I keep saying documentary, but Dark Side of the Ring, Season 1, Episode 1, very, like I said, well put together, well edited. It goes by a fast pace. It's never boring. Tension. A nice usage of old footage and interviews. It never goes stagnant. And I thought they did a really good job with it. It was interesting to watch. And the idea, to take back what I said earlier, there are a couple things I heard in there I never heard before. Well, I didn't know all the details about Elizabeth's death. I forgot she was with Lex Luger at the time. I'm like, oh, that's right, okay. And so that was explained a bit more concise to me. Stuff like that. Like I said, I really liked it, and I didn't. The other one I had seen was the Brawl for All, and I really did enjoy that one. I haven't seen too many of the other episodes, honestly. I've heard of them, but I haven't seen too much of the other ones. But yeah, this was a pretty interesting watch. So rest in peace to Miss Elizabeth, and rest in peace to Macho Man Randy Savage. Miss the Miss, you know, they seem like they cared for each other. You know, when you see him on screen, he's like, very hard to fake that. And just sad what happens. You know, what happened. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.